Welcome to the Golf Industry Show in 2019. We are in San Diego, California. I'm Frank Rossi here on the GCSAA TV stage, brought to you by Lebanon Turf, and a fun part of my job here is getting to meet with young people and a great initiative at the Quail Institute. We talked about this last year at the Golf Industry Show. We have a collection of scholars with us this year. Mike, I'm with Mike Kelly, I'm with Taylor Larson, Scott Hebert. Taylor Larson?
Yes.
Scott Hebert?
Yes, sir. Thomas Redding.
Thomas Redding. I got it here. We're here now. We've made it through the introductions. What a great initiative, Mike, that you have going here with Quail Hollow Country Club and John Deere as a partner, right? So why don't we start with that? Talk about the sort of initiation of this initiation of this initiative, and how we've brought these young people here to be with us today.
So it was the brainchild really of Quail and John Deere together. And really what they were trying to do is help build future leaders for our industry, and not necessarily picking one part of the industry, but representing all the industry. So we have a PGA professional, we have a golf course superintendent, and a club manager all working in the program, which is what it's designed to do. Tom DeLozier was a big part of it, the general manager at Quail Hollow. He's a big supporter of education. So when he was working and negotiating his deal with John Deere and Keith Wood, the superintendent there, they had this idea of trying to help generate future leaders. So they really engaged the process. They had our company write a curriculum for them, which they get to do a really full year's worth of education and networking. They were at the PGA Merchandise Show. They're at GIS. They'll be at Club Managers. They're all three volunteering at Augusta National this year. We're hoping to get them to the John Deere Classic, which is a natural fit.
Right.
And then they have a number of, we spend a whole day with the Troon organization, who let us come into their offices in Scottsdale for a day.
What a spectacular opportunity, right?
It
is. I mean, I'm assuming you get just overwhelmed with applications for people, and when you say these are our young leaders, I'm sure you've screened them through a pretty rigorous process. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Sure, absolutely. So there's a group of people that we use to screen the folks. The local distributor for John Deere in this case is Greenville Turf and Tractor, who was just nominated Dealer of the Year, by the way. So they're the local dealer there. So they're involved with the interview process, along with Keith, the superintendent, Tom DeLozier, the general manager, and myself. And then there's Corey Niehaus with John Deere and Rob Jeske with John Deere are both very involved with the program from a corporate level. So that group does the interview process. And by the way, we do have a website up if you want to interview. It's thequailinstitute.com. We'd love to get applicants.
Absolutely. We want to plug it like crazy, because obviously we've got people from a wide range of locales. It's supported locally by Quail Hollow, but it's a national initiative, yes?
Absolutely, and the dream one day is to make it international, and bring the program. And you can imagine this, if we had some fellows over in Europe,
of course,
that might come to Quail for 90 days, and
of course,
those are dreams of the program. And
so everybody's working at Quail.
Everybody is based out of Quail.
So that's part of it.
That is, you're based out of Quail, so you're about spending half your time doing regular duties of what it is the employees in those departments do. The other half, you're traveling, networking, and getting opportunities to have additional education.
All right, good. Enough from you. Let's talk to these leaders, right? So we didn't get the answer. It's a pretty good pile of applications that you get.
We do, yes. It's getting more and more sought after as people learn what the opportunities are, which you'll get from these guys, why they did it. So
I'm going to start in my comfort zone. I'm going to talk to the agronomist first, right? So getting to work with the golf course superintendent at Quail, I guess it was a year or two, they had the PGA Championship there, right?
Yes,
2017. So did you take the whole year and get to work at Quail?
So I actually started in September. September 17th, I believe, was my first day. And Keith and Shane, their management team's been great to kind of take me in and learning their style and how they kind of go about their business.
So weird time to join a golf course in September, right?
I came right in the heat of overseeding, so trial by fire.
Okay.
But it was great. Really kind of been integrated into their system and gotten to know the crew really well and the lay of the land, and it's been a great experience.
So you're at the University of Maryland. How'd you find out about this thing? Did you want to work at Quail and say, hey, maybe this is an opportunity?
No, so I got my turf degree from University of Maryland, worked at Congressional for a season there, lived in Seattle for a couple of years, worked at the Hollow Country Club.
Tom Usgen.
Yeah, exactly. Tom,
excellent.
Great guy. And bounced over to Charlotte about February last year.
Excellent.
Yeah, so found the opportunity online, just plugging away on, I think it was GCSAA.org.
So you were out of school?
I was out of school.
Okay.
Correct.
Everybody's out of school?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're looking for, you know, 1 to 2 years experience would be perfect.
Excellent.
You know, the fellows we had last year one of them came right out of college, the other one had been out about a year.
Okay, so now to clubhouse management, Taylor.
Yes.
Appalachian State, you said? You
Yes.
finished up. Where have you been before you came to Quail?
So I actually started my career in clubs at Grandfather Golf and Country Club. I was up there for about a year, and my first week at Quail Hollow was actually the 2017 PGA Championship.
Nice.
Yes.
Trial by fire.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing going on when the PGA comes to town,
there's
right?
nothing,
Right?
exactly.
Okay. So what were your responsibilities during that event? That had to be a real sort of shock to the system right away.
It was. I like to joke that it was my interview week. They needed to see exactly how I worked. And I was just in one of the hospitality suites, just as a server, bartender, whatever they needed. But Quail's a really special place to be, and I always knew I wanted to end up there. And then this opportunity kind of came about after that.
So when did you join the Quail operation? Right before the PGA in August of last year?
So I started in September of 2017. So I worked the PGA Championship, and then I started right after that.
And so are you wrapping up your time there, or now are you a full-time employee at Quail? Is this a conspiracy for Quail to get the best kids in the country to come and work there?
It's a great interview process.
I think I'm sort of starting to figure out what the motive is here. Are you working there now?
Yes. So I worked there a full year before applying for the Institute. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what would you tell somebody applying from the club manager's perspective, what they would do to be a successful candidate, to get to enjoy the things, not just at Quail, but what I'm impressed with, they're dragging you to all the conferences, you're getting to meet you're getting out there and exposed. The networking opportunities are enormous. What would you tell people how to get involved in this?
What I would say is to prepare yourself is to be ready to be uncomfortable. You know, we are exposed to every facet of the industry, and not everyone is comfortable with that, but you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to talk to people and meet with people and really engage with different departments. And so that would be my best advice.
So when you decided to apply, obviously this was a career thing you were doing. You went to work at Quail and then applied. Not everyone's going to do that. If they're afar, the quailinstitute.com is one way to go. What did you say in that letter you think really made them want you, other than the fact that you had worked there?
I really think me already being an employee almost would have hurt my chances because they wanted to bring in someone new, maybe with fresh ideas, someone who didn't know the club as well. But I really care about my career and I really care about this industry, and I was very vocal about how much I wanted to learn and how much I wanted to experience throughout the whole industry, in each different aspect. So I think that's kind of what sold it.
Well, from my perspective, the great thing about having the three of you here, and we're going to get to you in a minute, Mr. Sweater Folder. I sort of do it. We're not at the the PGA show, so we can make fun of these guys.
Absolutely, light 'em up.
Is that these people have to work together. A successful operation has these people working together as a team. Right, and the final part of that team is probably one of the biggest FaceTimes with our clients, and that's in the golf shop. So, Queens College.
Queens University of Charlotte, yes sir.
Queens University of Charlotte, so you didn't venture far from home either.
No.
Tell us your path to the Quail Institute.
So I started as an intern at Quail in 2015, that summer. And then I graduated from Queens in 2016. So my senior year at Queens, I was still part-time, caddying in the shop, working outside, picking the range still. And then shortly after graduation, I was offered a full-time position as an assistant pro to get my Class A license. So obviously took that offer and ran with it.
So then, just like you, on the staff, joined, and then got into the Institute. Now here comes the tough question. The many things that they offer you, part of being a leader in this industry may be leaving Quail.
Correct.
What are you doing? You're finishing up your thing. You sticking around?
Well, we all finish at the same time. So
then do what?
And then it depends.
Well,
see where we go.
The game plan for myself is to stay on at Quail through my level 3 Class A. So right now I'm a level 1, and hopefully to finish level 3 within the next year. So a year and a half or so, I might be starting to look around.
What's the biggest learning thing? I mean, it's interesting. You work at this place, you apply for an award, now you get this award, but you're still working at this place that you've been working at. What made the experience with Quail Institute different than when you were just working there, beyond being taken to all these great events?
Well, for me, it opened up the idea of doing something other than golf. I've always had the idea of wanting to get in the club industry side, maybe become a GM. I've had that fascination since I was freshman year in college.
Excellent.
So this opportunity was perfect for me to venture and find out what I really want to do.
So what does it look like for you out there? I mean, you're just a regular employee as on the staff at Quail Hollow, or as a member, as an awardee of this Institute scholarship, you have different expectations in the daily work out there?
I do, yeah. It's become more of a leadership role for sure. I would say since this Institute started, our coworkers look at all of us as leaders, rather than myself as an assistant pro.
So was that different when you went from that role to the Institute person as a leader? I mean, those are people you were working with side by side, and now you're in a different role. How'd that work for you?
Well,
I think she said being uncomfortable is a big deal, right?
Definitely being uncomfortable, for sure. And that's what we've done. I've been in the club management part for 2 weeks and I have 2 more coming up, and it has been very uncomfortable. Jordan, our clubhouse manager, put me in charge of 2 events before Christmas to run.
Perfect.
And that was odd, very odd. But it was great. It was great. I learned from it, and it was a really cool experience.
So advice about interacting with the Quail Hollow golfing membership. You laugh. It's so great. I didn't even ask the question yet, and he laughed. Because obviously, you know, one of the things I know us on the course management side rely on is a very smooth message from what we're trying to accomplish and the tasks we're doing to give you the playability that you want. What kinds of things do you find the members are regularly talking to you about, particularly with regard to the course?
Well, Quail is a place for them to come and let their hair down and relax. So our relationship is much more different than what Taylor or Scott has with the members. With us, it's not, I wouldn't say buddy-buddy, but it's a lot more casual conversation, how we're doing within our lives. Whereas the club management part, I've been up there, it's much more formal. So she's learning, and she's getting to know members more personal than she has.
So now that you've worked in a golf shop and worked in the clubhouse, which they both have their own challenges,
yes.
It sounds like you prefer the challenges in the clubhouse.
Maybe, we'll see. One thing that really stands out is communication in the club management is key. And not that it's not in the golf department, but they have a meeting every single Thursday to go over the week and the months in advance.
Right, okay.
So, and we have, in the golf shop, we have a meeting once a month, once every 6 weeks, so.
Okay, so did you get to go in, they let you in the pro shop?
I've not rotated up there yet. I'm in the middle of my rotation up in Clubhouse.
So you're in clubhouse now?
Yep, done 2 weeks up there, helping with events and dining service.
Is it changing the way you think about managing the place? Because you know, this is the big discussion among superintendents, right? We tend to be very focused on the taking care of the grass and leave this apart.
It's definitely helped, definitely having more exposure to the membership and having more face time. You know, in our business, we're kind of hiding behind trees, like, oh, here comes, you know, the membership. We got to cut the blowers and run over here, go to a different hole.
Yeah.
So it's been a really great opportunity to kind of get to know the membership and really know them and see them from a different perspective and really introduce myself too, because they're very fascinated with the program itself and they're really excited about it and actually like, you know, oh, why are we doing this? Or why are we covering greens? Like, well, it's going to be 20 degrees. So,
do you find that interaction changing the way you think about management at all?
I think it definitely helps, you know, definitely opening up a different side to it, changing maybe, sure. But it's definitely allowing me to have a better perspective on how the club dynamics run.
Okay, now to you.
Now to me.
Did you get to chase a mower?
Not yet, in a week.
So you haven't done that rotation yet?
I have not. I'm currently in the pro shop.
You're in the pro shop
Yes.
doing his work.
Yes.
He's over there in the club doing yours. So the question is obvious. How is it in the clubhouse? How is it in the shop versus in the club?
A couple of the members were a little surprised to see me there in such a casual environment, but I have gotten to know a lot of the members that I don't typically see. If they don't come into the clubhouse for dinner or they don't host events there, I don't really get that interaction. So that's been great. I've gotten to know some of the big time golfers that I've never met.
Yeah.
And it's very different, it's very informal, but it's great. It's a big part of the culture at Quail is that golf shop, for sure.
And that's going to inform you as a club manager.
Yes.
Don't you wonder that everybody should do a rotation in some part of the operation outside of what they normally do? It looks like that's widespread agreement on that. And the uncomfortableness was everything you all agreed upon.
Right.
I know these are going to be future leaders. I'm wondering sort of what's next, right? So that's the natural thing. You're going to finish up soon. and you has mentioned your aspirations to get into club management.
Potentially, yes.
So you'll be, when is the CMA meeting? That's the next meeting.
We're going to Nashville at the end of this month.
Okay, so that'll be the next one. What about you? Golf course superintendent stuff, or are you thinking about another aspect of the business?
So my family's kind of involved in the golf industry back in Maryland, and the whole point of my career and why I've taken this path is to go out, learn as much as I can, and come back and really be an asset to that operation.
Nice.
So whether it's tournament golf, club management.
So you grew up in golf?
A little bit, being around it, watching our courses
Go through your
develop.
family's history.
What's that?
You should go through his family's history. It's pretty impressive.
Well, let's hear it.
My mom's family owns and operates a golf course on the eastern shore of Maryland, Queenstown Harbor,
Nice.
and that place started out as a 27-hole facility when we first purchased it. It turned into that. It's grown into two 18-hole courses, so 36, and it's developed this kind of staycation type of plan. It's hour from DC, hour from Baltimore, and
Perfect.
watching this property develop has really been part of my life.
Exciting thing, and all this networking you're going to do. That we talk about this a lot at Cornell. We got a lot of kids in New York State coming from the farm, want to go back, and what we say is, listen, you got to get out of here. Go experience different ways of thinking about it. Now, what about you? You obviously had your career in Quail as a goal for you. Are you sticking around?
It depends. I'd be happy to, but we're exposed to so many different things through these trips. We meet so many different people. Yeah. I'm open to moving on to another great property. Right. I would like to stay in the clubhouse, at least for the foreseeable future, but eventually take those steps to, hopefully, I would love to be a general manager.
It's such a great initiative, getting all of you here. We're glad we got the team together this year. We didn't get the third person here last year. What's the future hold for the Quail Institute?
So we'll be, these three will be graduating, if you will, from the program. As you were indicating, we're going to be looking for opportunities. We'll start that probably in about 30 days after we get through the last show. They'll get opportunities presented to them. Mm-hmm. When we finished our meeting in Troon, they basically were all three offered jobs at Troon. If they wanted to go to the Troon organization, they could, if there's a fit there for them. So part of what we'll do with our company is help place them. And that may be, last year's one went to Myers Park, Rachel, the club manager, as a food and beverage manager. The other one got offered a job by Keith Wood to become an assistant at Quail. So to your point earlier, it's a great interview, long one-year interview. They really get to see what the talent is.
The exposure that you get and the networking opportunities, I mean, it's a diverse industry that needs young leaders coming in. And, the future of this program looks bright. The investments look like they're going to continue. So let's get logistics. When will the next crop apply?
So we will start taking applications right around May for a start time in August.
May for start time in August.
Yeah, so we're trying to get, if we do get, the cycle of the industry, we're okay if they are students coming out of college, which obviously that cycle is well there. But if they have 1 or 2 years experience, which all of these did, that gives them a little more perspective by the time they show up into the program. We think that's a good thing, but we had some great success with somebody right out of college in our first year. So.
All right, let's wrap it up. Biggest surprise?
Oh gosh.
What happened to you weren't expecting?
I didn't expect to experience as much. Like, I knew from last year, from what the program was, I knew we were going to travel a lot. I knew we were going to get exposed to different things. I did not expect that I was going to spend 30 days potentially on a mower. I was not. So it hasn't happened yet, but for right now, that's still the biggest surprise, if you will.
This is great. Okay, biggest surprise for you?
It's how hands-on that we get to be within the club. So with Scott being in the golf shop, he's going to be doing everything, picking the range, pulling carts, answering phone calls, running a tournament. And for myself in the club part, it's been running an event. So hands-on has been a surprise for sure.
I think definitely just the experiences. They did a good job drawing out the curriculum, but there's so much stuff that goes and happens on the fly. So going to visit Hart Howerton up in New York and seeing how they do big master planning and projects down the line, and just all the exposure. Going out to Scottsdale and meeting with the Troon company and all the scenic
Well, it's so
resorts.
fascinating. I'm with you on the grass side of this thing, right? So we tend to be, like I said, maybe very focused on it.
Yeah.
You come from the business of golf, so you already had a broader perspective of what it takes to run this operation. And I'm so thrilled. I know you're proud of all these young people. And big thanks to John Deere and Quail Hollow Country Club for continuing to do this. Best of luck to all three of you in the future. Continued good luck down there at Quail Hollow. I'm Frank Rossi. Thank you for joining me on the GCSAA TV live stage here, presented by Lebanon Turf. We're at the Golf Industry Show in San Diego, and maybe the sun's going to come out soon in February of 2019. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.